Hey there! If this is your first time listening to the podcast, please be aware you're going to be listening to three queer trans people in their late 20s talking about a variety of different topics. Some of them may be a bit more mature than usual, but listener discretion is advised, and if you're under the age of 18, stop fucking listening. I'm not even joking about this right now. Get the fuck out! But for those of you remaining, enjoy the show. I had a weird idea of how to, fucking start off the podcast this time around, but it would be somewhat fitting given what we were talking about this time around.
Oh, what was the
Country
roads?
roads?
Yes, all of us fucking singing Country Roads.
Oh, Jesus.
But also, I'm pretty sure if I asked you both to do that without any prior knowledge, one, Missy wouldn't be able to do it because of her setup, and two, I'm pretty sure we would all need vocal warm-up.
Challenge
I
accepted.
mean, yeah. I mean, I have a good bit to start.
Okay.
Go.
Welcome, everyone, to the Chaotically Queer podcast,
Oh!
podcast where three queer voice actors talk about the things that we're passionate with
Bitch!
and occasionally lose the game.
You sneaky bitch!
See, I was waiting for you to do this. I was waiting for you to be the sneak, finally.
You found my one Achilles heel, Missy. I can't resist prepping for possible singing. You
I'm
found
sorry,
my
I did-
Peter Kid flavored Achilles heel.
I'm sorry, it was by accident. I would never consciously take advantage of that.
Really?
Really? I have integrity. I have
Fine.
jester privilege, but I also have integrity.
Fine, I guess I'll believe you. This time.
This time, huh?
That was... God damn!
I was waiting.
Welcome to 2025, everyone.
Oh yeah, first podcast in 2025.
Somehow we have not imploded yet.
Somehow we've nearly been doing this for 3 years. Isn't that wild?
That is very wild.
I'm sorry, you said 3?
Nearly 3 years. It'll be exactly 3 years in July.
Bloody hell.
Jesus.
Okay, 2.5. I don't have to feel old yet.
Yeah, but eventually we will have to come to the fact that we have done this for a while.
Yes, well, I mean, that's a problem for future Melissa, and not a problem for now Melissa.
You know what is a problem for now, Melissa?
Shit.
What?
Tell us what the fuck you've been watching, Missy.
Oh!
Oh, do we want to lead with that as opposed to Ghibli?
Look, you've been cock teasing us for like a solid month and a half about this. I need to know.
My cock has been teased!
Bloody hell. Welcome to a new segment starting this year, called Melissa Actually Watch a Thing. I made it as part of my New Year's resolutions to start consuming more media, whether that is movies or like TV shows. Most often it's going to be TV shows and like anime, stuff like that.
Fair enough.
Probably not going to be a lot of new stuff, but it's going to hit some what's it called? Deep cuts.
Yes.
Gotcha.
So to start, I made sure not to tell either of these two what I was watching.
Cock
I've been leading them on for, I want to say a month and a half.
Yeah. The only hints you specifically gave me was that it was something that had only just been released on YouTube, and it was 50 episodes long.
All right. What is it?
So, I watched the entirety of the 2000 tokusatsu show Kamen Rider Kuga.
Fucking knew it. I fucking knew it was Kuga.
This is beyond my knowledge.
Okay, Kamen Rider Kuga was the first Kamen Rider was Chloe, correct me if I'm wrong here. The Kamen Rider revival in the 2000s after the previous series, which was in the 80s.
Yes, so it was the first Kamen Rider
basically
series. Yeah, it was the first Kamen Rider series. Like, there were Kamen Rider related media between like Kamen Rider Black RX and Kuga, but this was the first full-fledged Kamen Rider series since Black RX in the 80s, and it's also the start of the Heisei era.
So think like the Ninth Doctor in terms of Doctor Who.
Yes, exactly.
The revival and bringing the franchise into the new millennium. So I learned the reason why I found this show was because I was already interested in Kamen Rider media, had no idea where to start. And I learned on BlueSky that Kamen Rider Kugo was y'all are still here?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just
Okay.
listening
Yeah,
in intensely because
y'all weren't jumping in, and I was
I
like,
have nothing.
uh-oh.
I'm sad to say
Did I cut out of the
contribute.
call?
I was gonna say I'm sad to say I have nothing to contribute to this one because I haven't watched a single Kamen Rider thing.
Meanwhile,
so-
I'm just listening in intently because I fucking love Kamen Rider and I love more people getting into Kamen Rider. So I'm just like sitting in
Jazzy,
here waiting for your opinion.
So I learned that the entire series was uploaded officially on the Tokusatsu YouTube channel. And I was like, you know what? I'd already expressed interest in it. I was going to take this as a sign, and I watched it. Jazzy, I think you'll greatly enjoy this show.
I'll have to consider it. But it's just hard for me to get into series and stay with it at this point. I don't know if it's an ADHD thing or what, but
That is entirely fair. That is extremely fair. I adore this show. Which is
really interesting because so many people like try to start with Kuga and then they get lost because of like how dated it feels and how like slow it is compared to the rest of the franchise.
Really?
Yeah.
To me, this show it's charming from beginning to end. It is like it blends like superhero, police procedural, and horror like just perfectly, and it doesn't feel like it drags. It feels like just a consistent slow burn from start to finish, and it's really fantastic.
Oh, it's great.
Like this has become one of my favorite shows.
Oh, I'm so glad, but also if this is one of your favorite shows already, then holy shit. I think I need to send you like some specific series or at least like the rest of the Heisei era because like god damn there's a lot of really good stuff there.
Okay. So, brief overview of the Kamen Rider Kuga like story, I guess. Spoilers for a 25-year-old show.
Yep.
Almost exactly. Huh?
So I should stop listening because I haven't seen it.
Well, I'm gonna try to give like an overarching premise without going like too far into detail or whatever.
Gotcha. Okay.
It is so basically like there's an archaeological dig in Japan, and it's this like really old temple with unknown writing and stuff, and there is inside this like caved in, dug up place, it's like a tomb, is both the body of an ancient common writer,
Mm-hmm.
with the only real thing intact being his belt, and the malicious entity that was being sealed by this common writer's tomb. So from there, as soon as the tomb itself is opened, the malicious entity escapes, raises a horde of ancient superpowered beings, which basically becomes the monster of the week for the rest of the series. And the belt is put on by our hero, professional dream chaser, man of 1,000 skills, Yusuke Godai.
Yes.
The best of humanity. And I adore this show so much. I adore the cast so much. It's one of the best ensemble shows that I've ever seen. I think everyone gets... Chloe, I think everyone gets their time in the spotlight.
Yes, very much so. Which is
And it's
interesting given the fact that it's 49, which is good, because you would think you'd be able to do that in 49 episodes.
They even expand into some of the other detective members of the task force later on, and they feel as soon as these secondary ensemble characters step in, you're already rooting for them. It's this is a great show. I'm sorry I can't talk about it a whole lot, but I highly recommend this show.
Yeah, I would very much say that well, you kind of mentioned that it's already on Tokusatsu. The way that I would say it is just definitely if you're in a region that allows you to do so, definitely check out this series on there. It's 49 minutes. They're all 20-ish minutes long per episode.
49 episodes.
49 episodes, yes.
Technically 47. I think there are two specifically recap episodes.
Yeah, I forget they put 2 recap episodes in there.
As you do.
Yeah.
As you do. The
As
show, and I get that. It's not only from a padding out padding out to an even 49. Say even 49. Not just padding out the episode count, but also I can see why they put the recap episodes where they do. Because it right after a recap episode happens, a status quo shift kicks in.
Yeah.
So there's clear intent when there's a recap episode.
Very much so.
Yes. Yeah. And it's great. It's great. I love the main character so much.
Yeah. It's also kind of interesting because it's Ikuga, I'll definitely say this, compared to the rest of the entire Kamen Rider franchise from Kuga onwards, it definitely feels at least from for Kuga specifically, it feels it's definitely going for a much more mature audience, and then the vibes of the series just slowly remember, oh yeah, we're for kids, aren't we?
Kind of. This show does one of my favorite things in storytelling.
Yep.
In when there's parallel storylines. the hero winning happens at the same time as secondary characters working out their problems.
Oh, that's so great, isn't it?
This is, in my opinion, the best use of my friends are my power.
Oh yeah, and like Kamen Rider really loves that whole like my friends are my power trope, like a lot.
I don't think I'm giving away a whole lot because it's said like it's shown very early on, and it sticks with it from like episode 1 to episode 49. Godai, who becomes the Kamen Rider for the series, his goal is to help as many people smile as he can.
And really,
That's
He
very
wants
wholesome.
to protect people's smiles.
And really, that's such an earnest thing for someone who's literally taking.
He
on
is
the power-
earnest.
That's literally taking on the power of a literal like god or something like that.
And just like effortlessly, every single person who he encounters, their lives get better.
So he's Sora?
Through kind of.
Well, I mean,
Kind of actually though. But like Sora's one of those people who just like gets thrown into things. Godai has like this righteous sense of justice.
Hmm.
Well, I mean, Missy,
That just like yeah.
Missy, the thing about Godai being like Sora kind of is a bit correct because, well, shit, I think as someone who, if you know Kamen Rider, you know there's different forms to the main rider. The different forms of Kuga definitely match up with the different forms that Sora takes on.
Actually, yes.
So it works a lot more than you think, Jazzy.
Dang, I'm correct.
Yeah. Yeah, you are. I'm trying to think of is there anything else?
What rating would you give it?
Honestly, I almost gave it a 9 out of 10. Because I'm like, all right, it does one of those things where the quote unquote where the final battle takes place and there's one episode left. I was holding my breath during that final episode. To hope that it stuck the landing. In my opinion, it stuck the landing.
Fucking love
It was actually like a very thoughtful ending to the series. So I give this show a 10 out of 10.
Fuck
Dang.
yeah, let's go.
Good stuff. If I had to think of a show off the top of my head that may be a more favorite show to me than this, I would probably think like Kim Possible. But it's like that high a bar, you know?
Fair dues.
I'm trying to imagine Kim Possible and Kamen Rider Kuga being on the same like scale in my mind, and I'm like, that's wild, but in a very good way.
But yeah. So I'll be back next month having seen a new series. These two already know what it is. I'm not going to say it on the podcast yet. But yeah, I had my exposure to the Kamen Rider franchise.
I cannot wait for you to potentially get into more of it. If you need like another point to go off, like especially given the fact you started with Kuga, I'd immediately just go to Agito because it's sort of like a sequel to it. It's probably the most like borderline sequel that to anything in the franchise directly onwards because everything is sort of like its own self-contained thing after the fact.
Mm-hmm.
So, but unfortunately, you can't get it through. Well, you can't stream it through legal means. You have to buy a DVD from it from Shout Factory. But your girl can hook you up if you need to.
Chloe,
I'll
you
be in
got the
touch.
stuff. You got
Chloe
the
got the
stuff,
good
Chloe.
shit.
Let's just put it like this. I've got I've got like every Kamen Rider franchise on my Plex because I've been following the franchise for like 15 years at this point.
Nice.
So when I went, so like I've basically just kept like the only like known like fan subs of the franchise that have been around for a long ass time, and I'm just like I just like spreading it around to my friends that want to get into the franchise. And I'm just like, I love the fact we have legal means now. I'm still holding on to my fan sub copies because of preservation purposes.
Fair.
Mood. All right, I've alienated Jazzy from the conversation long enough.
Let's bring her back in for Whisper of the Heart.
Yeah.
So, first of all, before we
Speaking of good media,
yeah, before we get started on like discussing our individual opinions, can we just say off the bat, top of the list?
Yeah, top of the list.
second to top of the list.
Okay, but that's still an average of top of the list for the whole podcast ranking.
Yes.
So, yeah. If that was an indicator off the bat, we all fucking love Whisper of the Heart. And, well, Jazzy immediately went into it going like, yeah, this is top of the list for me. And I'm like, I remember some of it. I feel like this is going to hit harder. And boy, howdy did it hit harder than it did, like, back when I first watched it, like, a decade ago.
I feel like Whisper of the Heart is a movie that is better the older you watch it. Like, I think this is a movie that worked fine enough for me when I saw it as a teenager, but has only aged gracefully as years have gone on.
Yeah.
I get that.
And I've also seen your 3 different Letterboxd reviews of this as well. So, I could definitely tell your opinion has changed over time for many different reasons, Jazzy. But it's always been, like, for really good reasons.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, so I guess I should... before I go over should I go over my own history, like, with seeing Whisper of the Heart and how my opinion has changed, or do we want Missy's thoughts first and foremost?
I just had 20 minutes of nerding out over my own thing. You go right ahead.
Okay, so I saw Whisper of the Heart in high school as part of an attempted Ghibli marathon I was doing with my friends. I had never seen the movie before, and
Oh, boy.
I really liked it until the ending. I had stood by for years that the film is really good until the ending. For whatever reason, the ending did not click with me. And I think one thing that kind of made me sour to it more as like in my teen years / college years is my own not great history with relationships.
Fair.
But eventually, once I kind of got my shit sorted and opened my own heart up, which was closed off for a good deal of time, I started to really like the ending and what it means to the story. And I also really started to relate to the main character and her desire to just write, to just create, and how there's this constant expectation that if you're trying to pursue something creatively, the adults in your life are going to see it as like a phase. It's not something you could realistically pursue as a career. Like there are points in the movie where characters will tell Shizuku that what she's doing, while nice, is not realistic. It's not a maintainable career. And but yes, and there's a particular scene, like a lot of the conversations the family has with her in this regard are like felt very realistic to me in regards to acting. I've also had to have conversations with family about how this is something I want to pursue. I don't care if you don't see it as realistic. This is what I'm good at. This is what I want. This is what I think I can do. But sorry, just getting my thoughts.
All good.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, and there's also that issue of she's constantly comparing herself to the male lead in the movie. God, the name's escaping me right now. I know he's David Gallagher because I could only hear Riku the entire movie. Seiji.
Yeah, Seiji, I was about to say.
Yeah, she's constantly internally comparing herself to Seiji and where he is in his endeavors, like in where he wants to be, which is also something I relate to because in my own career, I kind of there were times early on where I was comparing it's like, oh, I'm over here and I have friends who are this far along. What am I even doing? And then I think all that culminates in a scene, like the penultimate scene in the movie where she brings the book she writes to the old man and is honestly she is honestly her own harshest critic during that scene. Not understanding that there's always room for improvement, but you got to admire what you've done good. And more than anything, and like take comfort in the fact that even if you create something and you don't think it's great, you created something, which is more than a lot of people do.
Yeah, and also especially like for a first project.
Mm-hmm. Like, I feel like I rambled a bit because my brain's a bit tired today, but these are just kind of the aspects I relate to in Whisper of the Heart. As a movie, I think the story's strong, the characters are great, the direction is fantastic, and the animation, as usual for Ghibli, looks absolutely fucking beautiful.
Yeah.
There are just so many sequences There's so many sequences in this movie that I think measure up to the studio's best. A personal favorite of mine being the scene where they sing Country Roads together. I thought that was amazing.
Yeah, like if you love the song Country Roads, and what you are going to love the 3 different versions of it in this movie, because you have the one done by Olivia Newton-John, the 4th best version of Country Roads. There's the one that they play in the middle of the movie, which is the 2nd best version of Country Roads, and then there is the one at the very end, which is the 3rd best version of Country Roads. The best version of Country Roads is the one sung in American Dad.
Fair.
I just wanted to leave that on just because I've had that bit in my head since we watched the movie.
Fair enough. But yeah, there's a lot I relate to in this movie as someone who does work in a creative field, and just seeing a younger version of me in this character, and just seeing the struggle she goes through in wanting to pursue this. I feel like it's a story that relates to anyone trying to pursue something they want to do, not just in the creative field, just any dreams, any ambitions. I think there's a lot in this movie to relate to, no matter who you are.
Yeah, great many reads on this film.
Yeah, one of the many reads. Well, I will ask. I don't want to like stop you in the middle of your bit, Jazzy.
Did I have anything else to say? One more thing. The main characters are played by Namine and Riku, so...
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, because this is another Disney dub.
Yeah, and I just found that funny.
Yeah. It's one of those things where I get the feeling we're gonna... And also, Sharpay's in this. Ashley Tisdale's in this as well.
Yeah, Ashley Tisdale, David Gallagher, and Brittany Snell.
Yes.
Because if I remember correctly, the voice of Namine was taken over by God,
Megan
all of
Martin.
a sudden.
Megan
Yeah?
Martin is the actress's name.
Okay, yeah. So, like, a specific version of nominee.
Right. KH2 nominee. That's
KH2
primarily
KH2 and
Days, I think.
Chain of
Brittany Snow
Memories.
played her. No, Chain of Memory, she was played by Megan Martin.
Oh, okay.
Brittany Snow, I think, only played her for 2, and I think Days, but I could be wrong.
Hold up. Now you're gonna make me check this.
Don't mind me just bringing up IMDb on my own. No,
No,
while
she was only in it for Kingdom Hearts 2.
Okay, so yeah, I don't know. Oh, I know why, because Christopher Lee only played Diz for Kingdom Hearts 2 and 358 over 2 days, and
Yes.
and so I thought the same went for Nominee's actress as well. So
Unfortunate,
for some
but
reason,
no.
for some reason, but no.
Okay, yeah, Megan Martin is nominee in Kingdom Hearts 3. For some reason, I thought Alison Stoner was Kairi and nominee, but in fact, she is the voice of Kairi and Shion.
It would be
Yes.
Yeah.
That was where I got tripped up.
Yeah.
Melissa, the Kingdom Hearts encyclopedia, tripped up on a what? Yes.
But yeah, no, the overall point I'm making is I really love Whisper of the Heart. I think it's not only relatable to me, but it's just a well-crafted movie as a whole. And
Yeah.
probably, like I said, my favorite of the marathon so far for just how much it hit me emotionally.
Yeah, it's so fucking great, and it's just like, we love it, honestly. And, oh god, I actually do want to go ahead with, my thoughts on it now, because, like, god, yeah, just, I absolutely adored this movie. Like,
Go for it.
I was so afraid that for some reason this would be the situation where it's just like, oh, I love this movie back then. It's just like, oh no, does it not hit the same now? It hits so much harder now, and it's like, I had this thought immediately as soon as the film wrapped. My thoughts with how my thoughts were that about how only yesterday how that felt about neurodivergent trauma. I feel this so much for Whisper of the Heart, for neurodiverse euphoria, in a sense.
Like, in a way, both Only Yesterday and Whisper of the Heart can be seen as companion pieces, I think.
Oh yeah,
Spiritually.
I would definitely say that. I would definitely say that they are more or less like companion pieces in a sense, which feels weird that they're done by different directors, but like, holy shit, this hits all of my feels in that regard, because I see myself in this in the same way that I saw myself in Only Yesterday, and instead of me reeling from like trauma and like wanting to fucking curl up into a ball in the middle of the film, I was just like, oh my god, I was rooting for her the entire time. And I was just like, yes, you go, girl, you're following your fucking dream. You fucking go for it. But like, yeah.
Oddly enough,
Yeah, you go, Missy.
Oddly enough, I didn't cry at the end of this film. The closest I came to crying was at a point about like 2/3 of the way through, where what's his name, Seiji?
Yeah.
Yeah, Seiji.
Where Seiji shows up at the library while she's writing or doing research or whatever, and instead of saying anything or trying to get her attention, he just sits down, starts reading. When she looks up, he's just like, don't worry, I'll wait. And they spend what is presumed to be a few hours just quietly in each other's presence, and I'm like, that is parallel play.
That is such lovely parallel play right there, and we love that shit.
That is someone understanding what that is neurodivergent understanding. That is understanding what someone needs and how to support them without distracting or throwing off their groove.
Oh yeah, and that's like when someone understands that in particular, that's so great, honestly. And I love that they actually did show that in that movie, because it's like,
yeah,
this is what I mean when I say I see myself in this, and it's just like, this makes me wonder if like, God, I'm blanking on the director's name.
Yoshifumi Kondo.
Yeah, Fumi Kondo, yes. Yes, it makes me wonder if like he felt like if he was neurodivergent in a sense, because like this comes from like a place of that kind of understanding in a sense. It's one of those where it's just like, this feels like someone on the neurodivergent scale wrote this.
Hard to say, because unfortunately, the big elephant in the room when it comes to Whisper of the Heart is that this is Yoshifumi Kondo's first and only directorial effort before his death a few years later.
Yeah, and it's fucking depressing, to be honest. Because it's just like, he made one really great film, and unfortunately, he never got to make anything else due to the unfortunate circumstances of his passing. And it sucks.
Yeah. But one really good film.
One really good film, yes. And I'm just sitting here like, you know what? One really good film and one amazing time throughout all of this. And I'm just sitting here thinking to myself, you know what? Fuck it. It's really great. I could there's so many things I could say that I could just say right now, but I want to emphasize this. This is one of the first films that I'm just like, if you have not seen Whisper of the Heart like you have, like many people have seen Miyazaki's films in the Ghibli catalog, I would 100% say go out and fucking watch this immediately. Like, this is one of those where I feel like just talking about it just doesn't really give it enough justice. And there's a good reason why I'm firmly in the belief right now. I'm firmly in the belief if I wasn't beforehand, before watching this again, this is the start of the Ghibli golden era.
Say so.
I would know nothing about that. The next movie that I have seen before in the Ghibli chronology is Ponyo, and that is down the road.
Oh
yeah,
oh my god!
You have some gems we're going through, Missy.
Missy,
I have seen nothing else.
Missy, I said this after we finished up on Whisper of the Heart last week, but for the next 5 films, we're basically going from hit to hit to hit to bloody hit.
Oh yeah,
like it's a solid 6 film. It's a 6 film like streak of movies where I feel like we are going to be filling out this top half of the ranking severely with the next 5 films. And
funny you mentioned that. So one of the things I've been sitting on. So was something kind of wild. So like two movies ago was Ocean Waves, I think.
Yes.
So it went Ocean Waves, Pompoko, and by the time we got to Whisper of the Heart, I forgot how good the good Ghibli movies are.
Yeah.
Like I had slowly been let down so gradually that I was like, all right, another Ghibli film, let's do it. And I'm just watching this and I'm like, wait, oh right, this is good. This is the good shit.
Yeah, like there's a slight dip that starts with Porco Rosso and then ends with Pompoko. It's a weird little dip to have like right in the middle of the chronology, but like it's a dip that doesn't suddenly happen again until after this 6-movie stretch, if I'm being honest here.
It was one of those things that like not only is Whisper of the Heart just a good film, it was refreshing. And that's a narrative that I did not expect to experience in a Ghibli marathon.
Yeah. Also, while we're talking about our rankings real quick, I feel a need to have to amend a personal ranking of mine.
Uh-oh.
I mentioned it like after we wrapped on Whisper of the Heart last week, and I'm looking at mine again, and Only Yesterday is better than Nazca. Like I would go back and rewatch Only Yesterday more than I would Nazca now that I think about it.
Fair, and I do think that
although Jazzy, you put that Dancing Kenny gif into the chat like a bit like. I'm gonna have to put this into the chat I'm gonna have to put this on the video around about this time because Jazzy just put like a Dancing Kenny gif saying this is me right now. But I'm gonna ask you but you're probably gonna want to amend that real quick because I still don't think I would go back to Only Yesterday more than I would Ocean Waves.
yeah,
oh my god, okay, yeah.
Every response to this is just gonna be a Kenny gif of some variety.
Yeah, I'm gonna need to future Chloe, please make sure that you are screen capping what's going on in the chat right now, just to make sure it makes sense at the time that it happens.
Holy hell.
Okay. So, do you have any other thoughts to say real quick there, Missy, on Whisper of the Heart?
My main takeaway is that my top 3, which are Kiki's Delivery Service, Whisper of the Heart, and Only Yesterday, these all represent different areas of the neurodivergent artist experience. Only Yesterday, I was talking about this just after the movie. Only Yesterday's neurodivergent upbringing. Whisper of the Heart is neurodivergent, like hyperfixating. And then Kiki's Delivery Service is neurodivergent burnout.
Yeah, the fucking neurodivergent trinity right there.
Indeed.
And I feel I think that's why Kiki is so freaking difficult to dethrone. Like Whisper dethroned Kiki for the two of you. Kiki is so deeply ingrained in my soul that like Whisper, don't get me wrong, is close, but the return to the cabin in the woods haunts me in Kiki. So
Fair.
like that's why Kiki is so difficult, but like I noticed just a trend of those top 3 are the ones that just they see me and they fire straight and true right through me. So that's why Whisper of the Heart is a fantastic movie.
Although I do definitely think you should talk about why Kiki's like neurodiverse burnout is so ingrained into your soul in therapy there, Missy.
Oh, I already know. I already know. The two of you already know.
Oh yeah, I am fully aware.
I don't need to
yes.
justify it any further than I already have.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Okay. Well, I don't think it's a surprise, but podcast ranking goes Grave, Palm Poker, Nazca, Ocean Waves, Only Yesterday, Porco Rosso, Castle in the Sky, Totoro, Kiki, Whisper of the Heart. We finally have a new one at the very top.
Wild.
Yeah, and spoiler alert.
And our lists only get more different.
Yeah. It's gonna be interesting to see how Princess Mononoke is, given the fact that that's the next one. And, yeah, we're getting into the stage where, I feel like the top of the list feels like it's going to, like, either become it's gonna become a bloodfest real quick to see who's gonna be at the very top as we get into these next 5, or we're going to see Whisper at the Heart get dethroned every single time. Or
Hard to say.
We're either going to see Whisper of the Heart, like, have a pretty big, like, contest to, like, keep it at the top spot, but, I feel like once we get to Spirited Away, I am going to fight for Spirited Away to be at the top.
Hey, I'm going to just say right now, I probably won't disagree with you until we get to Kaguya, so.
And that's like several movies away. Like, that's well into the 2010s, and we're just barely scratching ourselves out of the goddamn 90s.
Back in the 90s.
No.
Hey, she likes to plan for the future. Planning ahead.
Speaking of planning ahead, I've talked about this on the podcast a little bit, but, fucking...
Fucking!
No,
Sorry.
not fucking. We're not talking about fucking. I've started getting ready to do streaming later in the year, and,
Let's go!
Let's go!
thinking of stuff for it has got me so excited that I'm just like, oh, holy shit, this is real, ain't it?
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it'd be like that. I remember I kind of hit a similar thing when I started regularly streaming on my channel, so.
Yeah, my only thing is just, like, trying to plan out when I would do streaming, because my first day off that, like, I would do streaming on is the same day that you do streams on, Jazzy.
I see how it is.
But, like, honestly, I wouldn't do streaming on a Friday my time because, like, that's like, oh, big chore day, and I would like not, and I don't know if I would have the spoons to do like streaming on that day. So I'd probably do it on like a Saturday sort of thing or something to that vibe.
Streaming takes a lot of effort.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
A deceptive amount of work.
Yeah, like I used to live with someone that still does streaming. He does streaming on I'll shout him out real quick. Dairaku. I used to live with him like a little bit, like a few years ago before we moved over to the States to be with his husband. And he actually got like a lot of advice on like what kind of things to do for like recordings and everything like that, and he would like borrow my Elgato for like SNES recordings and everything like that. And the way that I would see him do streams, and I'm just like, holy shit, this is intense. And then I see how you two talk about doing streams and how I've seen you two do streams in the past like few years and everything, and I'm just like, wow, okay, this is fun, but also, like, this takes a lot of effort to do on your own, which is why...
To be fair,
yeah.
I do streaming, and I also make it so much more complicated voluntarily.
Yeah, but the point here, but, like, I guess that comes with the territory of being a VTuber, I suppose?
Yeah.
I guess you also count as like a tuber of sorts with like Jazz Brush.
Yeah, that is very much a PNG tuber. So
yeah, and here
PNG tubers are VTubers. Pass it on.
Yeah, Yeah, I wasn't sure if I could like I consider I was gonna say I consider myself a VTuber, but I don't know if that's like proper terminology for for my little character.
No, yeah. If anything, you're more a VTuber than I am because I'm a V-Twitcher.
Fair. But yeah, no, it's a fun time. Though it's funny to me that people have been requesting certain games, and it's games that I either wouldn't think of playing or one that would or in the case of Stick of Truth, one that YouTube would immediately get on my ass for.
Yeah.
Oh no.
And I also wouldn't want to stream for reasons of my audience. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is very fair. Yours is a very much more restrictive sort of thing because, like, you have 10K people following you now, but, like...
Yeah, congrats, by the way.
Yeah, first of all,
Thank you.
congrats on that, Jazzy, but also, like, it's a gift and a curse because you have a lot of people following you, but a lot of them are very young to the point where you have to kind of restrict yourself a lot.
right, like at the point of doing the stream at my current stream schedule, I only one of the games I'm playing is rated M, and let me tell you, after that first episode, that is a hard ass M.
Yeah, I wasn't going to say it because I wanted you to go in blind to Life is Strange 2, but yeah, you're gonna want to put a content warning for like a lot of different things for every fucking episode because Jesus fucking Christ, if you thought that first episode was intense, it's pretty much intense the entire fucking time.
Could I ask you if you could give me any general content warning notes I should be aware of for episodes? Like in the most, like, it's fine if something gets spoiled. I just want to make sure my audience is okay, because I was not expecting those hard slurs in the...
I am more than happy to send you a generalized content warning that and also from minor spoiler warnings in the contents, just so that you have them for each episode, if you would like that.
Yes, please do. Because
okay,
I did do a control F on the because the Life is Strange wiki, much to my convenience, does have the transcripts available, and I didn't see spoilers. I just did a control F on specific slurs in the scripts, and from what I could tell, the slur usage seems to be restrained to episode 1.
Yeah, the slurs are only contained to episode 1. The more harsher themes in general, they're prevalent throughout the entirety of Life is Strange 2 because one of the time frame of which it was made around, that being 2016, but also because of how realistic they decided to take those themes this time around. It's the only one in the series that thankfully does that, but it's really fucked in the way that it actually like gets real at points.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll be more than happy to send you like a generalized content warning for like each episode, just so that you have that for the streams.
Thank you so much. That's it. Like there was a point where I was like, there was kind of a point where I was genuinely debating playing the full game like on my own time just to make sure I knew. So
yeah, but also
Yeah.
like, I feel it's a lot better if you go in blind to Life is Strange 2 because it hits so much harder. Like, speaking as someone who went into the original went through Life is Strange 1 and both of the Telltale volumes before going into Life is Strange 2, it gave me vibes of playing Telltale's Walking Dead season 1 all over again with how fucking intense it can get.
Jesus. Okay, so we're at that level.
Yeah. So you're gonna want those content warnings, so I'll give them to you like at some point later on today.
Right. Like, yeah, no, it was... Yeah, so, yeah, like I said, I'm careful with what I play on stream, just because, like, I don't mind playing M games, but, like, I figured the first... We were originally just going to do the first Life is Strange, because I was like, okay, this is a game I played back then, that I played once, don't really remember too much of it beyond what, like, my initial reactions, but this might be fun. And then Shakira, Jordy, and I got so into it that's like, god damn, we have to play the whole franchise now.
Which, to be fair, it's a really fucking great franchise.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like, just seeing you two do streams, I've mentioned this a lot in private and also I think on the podcast at least once, but you two doing streams and seeing you two both do streams has inspired me a lot to want to actually finally get into it myself, because I've wanted to do it for years, but like, I just either never thought I had the time to do it, didn't really have the patience to do it, or didn't feel like I really had the personality to do it. But a lot of those really came from, like, years ago, and, like, a lot of that is pre-HRT stuff. And
Right.
becoming a lot more confident in, like, the way I do this, like, and doing the podcast has definitely helped out, like, doing this and everything has definitely helped out with, like, feeling like I actually have, like, a good personality and everything, and actually feel like I can focus and talk when playing video games now.
Mm-hmm.
Because funny thing about having to do streaming is that you don't just play a fucking video game on stream. You've actually got to have, like, a fucking personality or something like that. And that was my biggest problem for the biggest period of time.
I'm kind of surprised people stand to listen to me on stream, because I'm like I feel like I'm just chaotic and off the wall. So
I mean, that's part of
I mean,
your
that
charm.
works, though.
yeah.
You're really
But-
good at it.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, seriously. Like, as someone who followed you when you were initially doing the Kingdom Hearts streams on Twitch, and then stopped and then restarted doing it again, you have come a very long way, Jazzy, and, like, I say that very genuinely.
Well, thank you. That means a lot. And oh god, you mentioned that I got to 10K earlier. You know, that means I'm in the middle of fulfilling a promise.
Yep, you gotta do Sonic 06 eventually.
Ugh. I'm doing it next week. I already scheduled the first guest for Sonic Story.
Oh boy, who's that?
I guess I can say it now. So on Thursday, in lieu of Life is Strange 2, I know this goddamn game keeps getting delayed, but I think I can justify it after that first episode.
Yep.
I think I could justify it this time that we need a break. Like, for the first part of Sonic 06, I am bringing on our good friend Anthony. So
Oh, you're doing
nice.
it with ads. Oh my god. Okay,
Yeah.
let's fucking go.
yeah, so for those streams, Jordy is going to be joining me for all of them, but for each story, I'm having a rotating table of guests, and for Sonic, it is going to be our good friend Ant.
Oh boy. Well, you're subjecting him to, like, the least awful gameplay wise to sit through.
Yes, but I'm also subjecting him to the worst of the three main stories.
That is true. Yes, that is true, because objectively, Sonic's is the worst out of the three stories that you can go through.
Oh god, but yes, I should announce what I have so far. Yes, so at this point in time, the guests are going to go as follows. I'm going to announce it here, and that because I might as well, because I'll also be announcing it like probably tomorrow on my casual stream. But the guests at this point in time, subject to change if something goes awry. Sonic Story, I will be accompanied by Ant. Ant. I can't talk. Shadows, I will be accompanied by my II co-star D Cashin, who accompanied me on Sonic Adventure 2's Dark Story when we streamed that.
Nice.
And for Silver Story, I figured, what the heck, let's have a usual trio of me, Jordy, and Shakira Dunn.
Yeah, so the regular trio is going in for Silver Story, aka arguably the best story out of all of them.
But the worst gameplay.
Yeah.
And then for the final story, I'm bringing these two queens with me.
Hey,
Wait, what?
This is news to you, Missy?
No.
I was gonna say, I told y'all in the chat I wanted to bring you in for last story. So...
Yeah.
Because I figured, look, why not? Last story is when the more infamous moments of the game happen, so...
Yeah, you're gonna need us to just kind of, dunk on how bad this story really gets, because, holy shit.
Oh, if you're looking for someone to dunk, you're asking the wrong person. I am going to commit so hard to the bit.
Okay,
fun.
Okay, Missy's gonna commit to the bit. I'm gonna fucking just be all like, this is some bullshit.
And then I'm just gonna be dead, because at this point I've played through the three other stories, so... I have no soul anymore.
Although if they're taking
Oh, yeah.
Come to make an announcement, Shadow the Hedgehog.
although if they're taking the place of the Life is Strange streams, that'll actually work really well because that's on the day that I actually don't work.
Well, what I'm actually doing is I'm having them take I'm keeping those stream days open to work around guest schedules. So on Thursday I'll be doing the first half of Sonic Story with Ant, and then that Saturday I'm actually starting Shadows with D, since that's when they're available.
Okay.
And then next week is in terms of next week's stream, it's looking like starting Sonic on Thursday, starting Shadow on Saturday, and then finishing Sonic on Sunday, since those 2 days are when Ant was available. So
nice.
It's going to be a bit all over the place, but this is how I work with a rotating panel of guests. So.
Yeah, that's
right.
That's how it works sometimes. That's sort of why, with the way that I'm planning on doing mine, it's just like I have a list of people that I'm pulling together into a server just to be all like, hey, I'm thinking of doing this on this day. Who wants in?
That works. But yeah, so that's going to be fun. I already got a working 360 emulator with a perfectly functional ROM. So I did say I would be playing this game bugs and all. There is a slight break in promise I have to do as a result of me playing this via emulation. And I do mean slight. So because I'm playing this via emulator, the load times are fast, which is not how Sonic 06 works at all.
Oh no, you don't have the full Sonic 06 experience, it's ruined.
Oh darn, I'm getting rid of one problem in a list of thousands.
Yeah, I was about to say, oh no, the Sonic 06 purists will never forgive you for not going through the
this is gonna be 99. Damn, this is now only gonna be 99% bullshit.
But
how will we ever survive without the one?
How will you ever survive without going through, an entire minute of load screens between, the overworld and an action sequence? How will you survive, Jazzy?
How will I survive without the long load, the multiple long load times you have to do for a fucking side mission?
How? How will you survive? How will your sanity remain intact?
My friend Ryan brought up a good point that without the load times, I'm getting to the bullshit faster. So, in a way,
yeah, it's a gift and a curse, because it's a gift because you don't have to sit impatiently for several minutes at a time each session, but it's a curse because you have to get to Sonic 06 quicker.
Yes, and I did a test play where I played up through the first stage without saving, just so I have a clean file and everything. I did a test play, and I can guarantee you, outside of the load times, all the bullshit is still there. Everything controls like ass, and the Mach speed sections make me want death. So you know what? I'm gonna, in terms of emulating the load screen experience, I'm gonna take the L on this one. Because everything else is...
this.
Yeah, because everything else is fine, and I'm pretty sure my impatient streaming audience, and I say that endearingly, they are very impatient, but they're wonderful, I promise, will not mind the fact that we're not sitting through load times for most of the stream!
Yeah.
It's called quality of life.
Yeah. I'm gonna... No, it's not that I made it not like the original. I just reconfigured the conditions around getting to the bullshit.
Yeah. Listen, at a certain point, you have to weigh the pros and cons. Do you want to experience more bullshit in a shorter amount of time?
Indeed. But yeah, lordy.
That's gonna be fun to watch, but it's also gonna be pain to have to sit through when we eventually all get together for last story.
You guys get to be around for the worst level and the best boss, so
I'm bringing the alcohol. I'm bringing the fucking alcohol.
Yeah, because and it's not just it is by far the worst level and by far the best boss. So.
Yeah, it's gonna be a time. The music is good. The music is good in that boss.
Oh yeah, no, I'll bring this up when we get to it, but I actually like Solaris as a fight. I think it's a solid way to end a terrible game.
Yeah. That being said, we know what you're up to there, Jazzy, but what are you up to this in the near future there, Missy?
Same old. Working on art and animations and building my own community, all that jazz.
Jazz.
And all
Ish.
that jazz. I don't really have a lot to talk about myself. I'm on break until like March or April, whenever I told people I was going to be releasing the next video. I haven't even started writing on stuff. I've just been like prepping for like that stream thing. And just like trying to figure out like how the fuck does all this work? What am I doing here? How am I going to get all this sorted out? So but I'm slowly getting ideas for what I want to do for this upcoming year in terms of videos. So I've got like a good outline going about what I want to do, which is always great because at least it gives me like a set plan for what I'm going to be doing this year. So I'm not just like being all like, oh shit, I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing for this month. I gotta write a fucking script. Fuck. But hey, at least when I come back and I'm ready to go for doing videos this year, I'll have like a set schedule about like so that I know what I'm writing about, and that way it's gonna make it a lot easier for when I eventually do the streams and everything like that, so that like I know what I'm doing and when that needs to be released and whatnot, and just so I can like have that all planned out. So that's all great.
And when all those things happen, where can people find you?
You can find me right here on youtube.com, right here on this bloody account. You can also find me on BlueSky at chloesamflora.bsky.social. I'll probably like share around links for the streams whenever that ends up happening over there. That's pretty much me.
Jazzy?
You can find me at Jazzy Oliver VO over on YouTube, Lady Jazzington on BlueSky, and that's pretty much where you can find me.
And you can find me over on Twitch at my VTuber account, OzCyphara, OzCyphara, at twitch.tv. And on BlueSky at missyrovoice.bluesky.social.
I was about to say you could also find clips on TikTok, but I think when this video comes out, the TikTok ban will be in effect, so you can't.
Just had to fit that in before the end, didn't you?
I had to be topical at least once, and I had to get that in there somehow. I think you should set up like a VOD account on YouTube.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Yes.
I already have one.
I think you should.
I don't use it much.
I think it might be a good idea, like right here at the end, just to like maybe you should probably like cross post a lot of those that are on TikTok on there for the YouTube algorithm gods.
YouTube algorithm gods. I fear no gods. Oh God! Ah!
And on that
Oh
note,
God!
And on
the
that
gods
note,
and
the gods have
the gods
smited
noped
Missy.
Missy out of existence.
The gods have smited Missy, and on that note, fucking see you next month. Maybe Missy will be back with us by then.
We can
Bye!
rebuild. We can rebuild.
Bye.